Hi.
That gate was closed and locked. Was it open when you came through?
No, oh no, it's open. Yeah. Hey there, Duff here. Heading out for a little ride here. It's hot and humid. It was storming earlier this morning. Right now it's a little bit before noon. I was actually hoping to get out earlier before it got really hot. It was raining hard for a period of time, so I did not get out. Now it stopped for the time being. So I thought I would just get out on the road and talk about a few things that have been going on lately. Mostly about the V11, but a few other things as well. I'm not riding the V11, obviously. I am riding my 16X today. I was thinking about riding my one wheel, but I needed to charge it and I didn't want to wait for it, so I am on the 16X instead. So just to give a little health update, I've been complaining a lot about my left knee. It's been making incremental progress, slightly better, very, very slow pace. Right now, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually have a knee brace on underneath my knee pad. It's actually a knee brace that Marty recommended. Helps a little bit, I guess. Kind of keeps it warm and stuff, but definitely still is not normal. I don't know that it'll ever be normal again. So we're just gonna do the best we can with the cards that were dealt. So I'm just planning to ride over to like the school areas today. Middle school, maybe the high school, I don't know. Because this ride's more about just kind of, you know, quick ride, talk about what's going on. Nothing overly epic. We're heading up the back way to the school here. Hopefully it's open. It is. Oh, man. Man, I miss suspension, guys. I really do. Maybe I'm an old wuss, I don't know, but I miss suspension. I was hoping I could just sit in one of these dugouts, get out of the sun. Let's see, is there an easy way to get in there? Okay, that's a little better. So since I shot my last video, there's been some stuff going on in the EUC community. Seems like there always is. Most noteworthy thing was Marty took the V11 up Overheat Hill. And up until this point, Marty was extremely excited about the V11. He put his bike seat mod on it. He declared the wheel as the most comfortable seated riding experience he's ever had. He loved the feel of the suspension, and he was confident that it would do well up Overheat Hill just because the motor had felt very strong to him up until that point, and I echoed those feelings. I remember way back when I took the wheel in Pennsylvania up that steep hill in the cornfield, I declared back then that I thought the V11 would smash Overheat Hill. I thought it would have no problem whatsoever. And lo and behold, it had a problem. So I'm sure most of you that are watching this video saw Marty's video already, since we have a lot of duplication in subscribership. In a nutshell, he took it up to the area for where Overheat Hill is. Getting up to that area, there's some steep hills leading up to it. Not as steep as Overheat Hill, but some steep hills. And while Marty was on those hills, he noticed that a couple times the temperature was creeping up in the wheel. Up to, I think the highest he recorded was 78 degrees, either 73 or 78 degrees Celsius, which is quite warm. And one of the things that I thought was intriguing about the design of the V11 is it doesn't have any active cooling. It basically seems to rely on just the heatsink principle. The system board is mounted on a metal plate, and that metal plate is in turn connected to the big metal casing on top of the wheel to give it a large area to dissipate heat, but there are no fans inside the system board area. It's interesting, once the wheels start to heat up, what happens is the headlight fan turns on, which is basically just blowing some additional air over the outside of the system board case. But any advantage that provides is minimal at best. So it's kind of odd, but that is the way that the V11 acts to rising temperatures. Basically, what happened was the wheel evidently was stressed enough just getting up to Overheat Hill that when he was at the base of Overheat Hill, he was going to take some pictures and stuff, so he turned the wheel off, laid it on its side, and it would not turn back on after that time period. I guess more accurately, he said he hit the button, it turned on for a split second, and then turned back off. And evidently, electrical components inside the system board had failed. The wheel was acting, the motor was acting like there was a direct short, you know, because you had resistance while trying to spin the motor. And later on, when Marty tore it down, he disconnected the motor wires and the wheel started to spin again. So one of the electrical components on the V11 system board evidently did fail in those situations, or in that situation. So yeah, that was very disappointing, even for someone like me, you know, well, especially for someone like me, because I was very confident that the wheel was going to do great on Overheat Hill, and instead it died before it even started to climb the hill. So I'm not sure what kind of reaction this is gonna generate from Inmotion. Supposedly they had already said that there were some changes on the pre-production system board versus the production system board. Up until this point, I have not heard any specifics, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. I don't know it would be anything that would help it perform better in the situation that Marty put it in. I really don't know. And I got several people asking me, you know, hey Duff, man, what do you think about all this V11 stuff? You know, issues with, you know, the issues I had with riding in the rain, and some issues with shock damage, and now the Overheat Hill failure. And to be quite honest, it really doesn't change my excitement for the wheel personally, for my riding situation. It's for the kind of environment and conditions that I ride in, the V11 would be totally fine. I think sometimes people overreact to Marty's Overheat Hill test. You know, sure, it's great if the wheel passes that test. That's great. That says something about the strength of the wheel and the ability to handle high torque situations. It definitely is a positive thing for a wheel. But the thing is for the vast majority of EUC riders, you're not going to be in that condition. Those are unique conditions that very few people are going to find themselves in. So yeah, it's disappointing that the V11 did not do as well as I hoped. It did much worse than I expected, to be quite honest. It still doesn't affect the way that I would expect the wheel to work for me. I still think it's going to be a great wheel for me. So I think that sometimes people just need to, you know, get some perspective on the various tests that people are doing, and if it's an edge case, remember it's an edge case, and just because a wheel fails in that kind of situation doesn't mean that all of a sudden the wheel's trash or something like that. So I think there's some overreaction, but that is not abnormal in today's society, right? People love to overreact to things. So anyways, yeah, in a nutshell, no, that Marty's test, like I said, was disappointing. Does not change my perspective on the V11. Does not make me think that all of a sudden it is not a good wheel. I think it's a great wheel. It's going to be interesting to see what V11 or what Inmotion does in response to this. You know, if anything, yeah, I think I saw a quote from someone from Inmotion saying that they thought that if simply taking a production wheel up that hill, it would perform significantly better. So I don't know. I don't really know, because as far as I know with the production wheel, there's nothing that's been done to change the cooling properties of the wheel. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, we're going to do some extreme riding here off the cement.
Extreme!
Through the wet dirt without an issue. That was extreme, guys. Okay, so let's get rolling here. So the other bigger V11 news that I saw was Hsiang up in New York City. He had, or he still has, a V11 that was sent to him by Inmotion that he crashed, and he crashed badly riding the streets of New York City. I saw the aftermath pictures, and The way he described it in the video did not sound like a very pretty situation. So the way he described it, he was riding around New York and he intentionally was, finding things to, bumps and potholes and things to hit on the road that would give him a feel for the suspension. And one of the things that he hit was a manhole cover. And when he went back to review the manhole cover after the crash, it didn't seem like there was anything extreme about it. It had a little bit of a drop. But him hitting it had some extreme consequences. So the way he described it, it sounded like one moment he was on the wheel, and this other moment, or the next moment, he was popped off the back, and he went off the back of the wheel, went down on his back. Luckily, he had a backpack on, so it kind of protected him mostly. The wheel, however, did not fare very well. It seems like the wheel continued to go on its own. It and wound up stopping when it crashed into the back of a truck. And when you see the impact, right, let's swing around here. When you see the end result of that damage, it was pretty severe. Let's see, the pedal was bent, the tire was ripped, which is odd. It would be really interesting to know exactly how that came to be. The tire's ripped, sides are all busted up. Part of the saddle was pretty much destroyed, and he said that it wouldn't turn on either after the crash. So he has some work ahead of him to get that thing going again. But I was curious, like why did he come off? And when I was listening to his description, and then I also messaged him, just asking him what pressures he had on the suspension system. Initially, he told me that he was running at 150 psi in the positive and I think 50 in the negative. And my initial reaction was, that's pretty high based on your body weight. He weighs less than I do. And I think the max I've had the pressure in my production was 120 psi in the positive, and even that felt a little too springy for me. So I'm wondering if it was just cranked too high for his body weight, and he literally got pogo sticked off when he hit that bump unexpectedly. And I know that the way he normally rides, he kind of rides with a stagger stance, where his back leg is off. It's back, and not only is it back, but it's off the wheel, kind of turned out. He likes that for more control. The issue with riding that way on a suspension wheel, especially if you get popped up in the air, is you don't have contact with the sides of the wheel. So I'm kind of thinking he just got bumped off unexpectedly, just not expecting to get that kind of pushback from the suspension. That is my thought, but who knows? It wasn't on video. He didn't video while, or he wasn't videoing while it happened. So no one will know for sure, but I'm glad he's okay. Hopefully the wheel comes back, and yeah, that was the other biggish V11 news of the week that I heard, at least. Gotta keep practicing my opposite foot mount. I always say I need to do it more, and I don't do it more, and I need to. I really need to. So the other news item that I saw, this is only within the last couple days, is KingSong put out an official release saying that they were locking down wheels that were made in China. Hi.
The gate was closed and locked. Was it open when you came through?
No, oh no, it's open.
It's open?
Yeah. Oh, it's supposed to be locked on the weekends?
Yeah, no one's supposed to actually be on the property. They're working on the field, but they try to lock it down.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. No, it was open.
I don't see any harm in you cruising around. You're fine, man.
Okay.
No big deal.
All right, thanks. All right. Uh-oh. Not supposed to be here. So we'll move. Not a problem. That guy was cool. So anyways, yeah. They were announcing that they were going to be restricting wheels that were sold in China, deactivating them so they will not work anywhere other than China. And that created a huge pushback on social media. And I can understand why. So basically, in a nutshell, what KingSong was doing was, it was not, I guess maybe they found that it's pointless to try to go after the dealers that are selling these wheels. So their solution is to instead punish the consumers that buy these wheels from, Alibaba, or, a seller, a China seller that I guess technically is not supposed to be selling the wheels for overseas use. So their solution is to punish the consumers that are buying these wheels. And that policy is going to need to be re-examined ASAP, because that's just not cool. That is not the way to handle business. Yes, it's not good that these sellers are selling China wheels overseas, but it's not the consumer's fault, that this is happening. So hopefully KingSong rethinks that, because they're getting a ton of negative feedback about it. So I expect that policy to get changed pretty quick. And speaking of KingSong, this week I did get an email from eWheels that makes it appear that my S18 order probably will be showing up sometime in September, who knows. So hopefully by the end of September it's in my hands. I really hope it will be sooner, but based on the time I placed my order, that looks like the time frame that I can be expecting my S18. Oh wow, what the hell happened here? What in the hell? How does that happen? I wonder if a car jumped the curb and hit that fence? It has to be, right? Damn, that sucks. Here we are in the parking lot that started it all. Let's see, right over here I think is, right around here is where I had that ridiculously looking slow motion fall onto my hip on my Ninebot 1E Plus, right around here somewhere. Yep. Memories. One other thing, this isn't news per se, but I have spent the time watching the teardown videos of both the Inmotion V11 and the KingSong S18. And I think one thing is very, very clear with suspension wheels is there is a price to pay. Crazy dog. There is a price to pay for the technological advance of a suspension, and that is added complexity, without a doubt. Teardowns of both of those wheels are very, very involved. Nothing that can't be done, but you better make sure that you set the time aside if you got to replace an inner tube or something like that on those wheels, because there is a lot of work that goes into it. You better be good at keeping your screws sorted out, because from what I understand, it's not like they all use the same size screws either. There's a bunch of different size screws for different parts of the wheel, so you're going to need to be organized in your disassemblies. And one thing I did notice in those disassemblies is it appears that it's the same deal with the KingSong wheels, or at least with the S18. I don't recall seeing any sort of active cooling on the S18 either. I don't believe there's a fan in the system board area. So if Marty does ever get his hands on an S18, I'm curious to see how it would do in that same situation. All right, guys, I think it's going to wrap it up. Even though it was a relatively short ride, there's a lot of gabbing in it. My God. It's so funny that I'm such a blabbermouth when shooting videos, but 99.9% of the rest of my life, I always practice using the absolute bare minimum of words possible. So, yeah, weird thing. So if you found this video interesting, please give it a big thumbs up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please think about subscribing. If you're going to subscribe, you can always hit the notify bell, which is over there somewhere. Feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, ideas, and thoughts below about the various issues that I talked about. I'm always interested in hearing other people's opinions. You know, even if I don't agree with them 100%, I still read and digest whatever is in front of me. So, yeah, feel free to leave your comment below. Hope you had a great weekend. That's all I have for now. Until next time, Duffman out. I forgot I wanted to do a little detour here. If you go back this way, it goes to the entrance where they're building that new park that I've talked about in prior videos. They're building a new public park back here that's supposed to be similar in size to North Collier Regional Park, which I've ridden at many, many times. Originally, before COVID, they were talking about having part of the park open by June. Obviously that didn't happen, but I am curious to see where we're at back here. So let's go take a look real quick. All right, there's a lot more asphalt than when I was here last. I'm trying to figure out what these pole structures are here. Are those lights? What the hell are those things? I think they're lights with solar panels attached beneath them. That's what it looks like. Let me see if I can get closer. I have no freaking idea what those are. I don't think they're solar. I don't know. I'm not sure what they are. I've never seen lights like that before. So yeah, definitely not open today, but they are making progress, and this is a huge space. Just curious if I can see anything else going down this road here. Yeah, this is huge, guys. It's huge.